You were named after Mike.
Named after Mike,
wow,
yes.
That shit happened.
My dad was a professional boxer in the late 80s, early 90s, heavyweight. And his hero was you.
Really?
So anyway, he looked at me, he said, what are you going to call him? After the heavyweight champion of the world, I said, Mike Tyson.
And the doctor said, no, that's not going to be a good name. He's not going to be very big, this guy.
Really?
When I was born, I only weighed 1 pound in weight. I was tiny.
Wow.
And I grew up to be 6'9" and 265 pounds.
Wow.
Crazy.
Before the boxing, Tyson was a skinny little boy.
I knew something was wrong with me my whole life. Growing up as a child, I'd feel a loneliness even when I was with other people. I come from a family where we don't show love, we don't show emotion, we don't do anything like that.
Show vulnerability?
Yes.
Very quiet, shy, and as he got a little older, put weight on, and he was always embarrassed.
I used to have anxiety all my life as well from being a little lad. I used to think like something was going to happen and I'd be all anxious, but I didn't know what that meant. I was always told that I couldn't do stuff and I'd never do anything, I'd never achieve anything, so...
When he started boxing at about 14 years old, he grew confidence around that.
Can you remember the point in your boxing career, especially when you were younger, where you thought, yeah, I'm going to be the champ?
When I first put a pair of boxing gloves on, I wanted to box. That was all I wanted to do. A burning desire to achieve greatness. And I was the first person in the gym, the last person to leave every day. But I always had a goal of becoming heavyweight champion of the world. And it always brought me back out of the darkness to achieve that goal. I come into boxing to be the heavyweight champion of the world or nothing. That was my be-all and end-all of my life. Nothing else mattered. That was it.
It's also during his teenage years that he meets his future wife.
In 2006, and I just started going out with Paris. It was my first gold medal I ever won in a boxing tournament. And I come back and I give it to Paris. It's the most precious thing that I own, and you can have it.
Instantly liked him, instantly thought like, oh, you're different, you're something else. That was an engagement ring.
That was the first engagement ring I gave you, was it? Mm-hmm. She said I was going to win world titles and I was going to marry Paris and we was going to have some kids, and that was it, live happily ever after.
But Tyson was already heading full steam towards catastrophe.
I was focused on what I wanted to do, and that was beat Vladimir Klitschko. When I was 14, I was watching Vladimir as a world heavyweight champion on TV, thinking I can beat that guy. I know I can beat that guy, and I will beat that guy.
I'm big, I'm good, and I train hard, so there's nothing stopping me from going to the top. I do believe 1,000,000% I can no doubt be a world heavyweight champion. Ability-wise, I'm 5 times better than anyone in the world at the moment. Anybody, the Klitschko's anyone, they're big as me, but they're not as fast. They've got no movement, they're like wood, if you know what I mean, robotic, as it said.
Tyson Fury! Oh, that's a good right hand. Tyson is putting a lot into these. Big punches from Fury. It's been stopped. Tyson Fury has won for a second time.
Tyson Fury is the best prospect in world boxing.
I'm here to send shockwaves around the world, and I think I've done that tonight.
He's going to be a phenomenon in the heavyweight division.
No matter what I've ever done in my life or what I've achieved, where I've been, I've always felt deflated after a good achievement. Not once have I ever enjoyed an achievement that I've worked hard for, ever.
Nothing I've ever done in life has made me happy. Not even one thing.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Some people work hard for stuff and they get there and they enjoy it. I don't know what that feels like.
I must be looking for a feeling that's not there.
Because I'm always looking to do something more. That's never enough for me.
This motherfucker is going to sleep.
And when they said, right, you're going to fight Klitschko for the World Championship, I had a lot of bad traumas happen on the build-up to that.
My uncle Huey, who had coached me in the early part of my career, died in October 2014 after a freak accident. He lay in a coma for 11 weeks after the accident. I found myself not only visiting him in the hospital, but also having to rush my wife Paris to the same hospital. Paris was around 6 months pregnant, and we had received the heartbreaking news that the baby had died. Because the little one was so developed, Paris had to go into the hospital to have the baby delivered. I would be taking him home to bury him. I put him in this little wooden box that I had for a watch, took him up to my dad's house, and found a nice spot in the garden and buried him there. The tears were streaming down my face as we said a few prayers, and I laid down a stone to mark his burial place. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
I lost like uncles who were close trainers and lost children at birth and stuff like that. But I put it all to the back of my mind. I didn't want to think about it because I didn't have time. I was too focused on achieving my goals. Nothing was ever going to stop me from beating Vladimir Klitschko. I look back on it now and I was very ill going into that fight. I wasn't well-minded.
You call Batman. Had a call from Gotham City. I'm here.
After all watching and observing the behavior of Tyson Fury during different fights, his mimic, singing.
This is the calm before the storm. The calm before the Klitschko fight. Is this face still bothered?
There's certainly bipolarity.
Definitely on your side now.
That's my diagnosis.
We're going there.
There is psychological issue because the misbehavior cannot control himself. That's a bipolarity in changing the mind. It's a serious issue that a lot of people unfortunately have in our society. And there's a lot of doctors that can give you good prescription and it's gonna help. Certain medicine. In this case, it's going to be boxing match.
Call me a clown again! Call me a clown! Fool! Sit down.
Clown.
You never fought the king before. You're looking at one ear apart from me.
You need a therapy.
I'll fight now!
I will save you.
I was almost afraid to win because I knew for a fact I didn't have a goal anymore after that.
Hey, nice old man. Your time has come. Klitschko, are you ready to lose?
Here he is, Tyson Fury! Heavyweight champion of the world, Dr. Steelhammer, Vladimir Klitschko!
Unanimous decision from the United Kingdom, the new unified heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury!
28. November 2015. Es ist Historisches passiert. Wladimir Klitschko verliert.
And Tyson Fury is the new heavyweight champion of the world. Congratulations.
And when I finally beat him, it was like climbing my Everest. I didn't have anything more to prove. I thought to myself, is that it? What now? For 5 minutes I was happy. And I knew it was going to be disaster. 7 billion people in the world, and I was the man who became world heavyweight champion at that time. But it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean as much as these slippers on my feet today. Nothing. I was lost. I was almost like I didn't have anything more to do in my life.
When we are in pursuit of something, there is a release of dopamine in our brain. That makes us feel motivated, and in general, it makes us feel good. But very shortly thereafter, there is a tilt of the pleasure-pain balance in the brain.
Every high, there's got to be an even high, a lower low. I believe every achievement that I do in life, there's got to be an almost certainty lower low.
And we don't experience this as physical pain, at least not at first. We experience it as craving for more of the thing that brought us pleasure.
I tried golfing, I tried clay pigeon shooting, I tried 4x4ing, I tried going to strip clubs, bars, restaurants, everything. And I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this? I don't have no reason to feel like it.
It was like a delayed reaction catching up. The loss of my Uncle Huey, the pain of burying my little one. I hadn't fully mourned either of those losses, but now they came rising to the surface like the lava in a volcano, spilling out and sending me deeper and deeper into a mental place from which I felt I would never recover.
Then the depression kicks in.
Oftentimes, people with depression will feel very guilty about things they have done in the past.